Have you ever walked into a room and felt the chill of unseen eyes upon you? Welcome to the Whaley House, often proclaimed as the most haunted house in the world. Nestled in the heart of San Diego, California, this eerie abode whispers tales of the past with every creak and groan. Visitors and paranormal experts alike report mysterious apparitions and unexplained sounds. Its walls, steeped in history, hint at both the grandeur and the grim tales that have shaped its ghostly reputation. Join us as we step through the creaking doors of the Whaley House to uncover its secrets. Behind every haunted house, there's a haunting family story. Thomas Whaley of Scots-Irish origin was born on October 5, 1823, in New York City, the seventh child in a family of 10. Whaley took over his father's successful business relations, then left New York on January 1, 1849. He traveled to San Francisco during the California Gold Rush, where he engaged in business. Thomas Whaley capitalized on his success by establishing his own store on Montgomery Street. After an arson-set fire destroyed his buildings on Montgomery Street in May 1851, he relocated to Old Town San Diego on the advice of Louis Franklin, a merchant who operated stores in San Francisco and Old Town. Whaley set up various businesses with Franklin and amassed enough money to return to New York to marry his sweetheart, Anna Eloise Delaunay, the daughter of French-born parents, on May 14, 1853. Shortly after their marriage in 1853, Thomas and Anna returned to San Diego. It was then that Thomas Whaley purchased the land and set forth on his journey to build the finest home in California, which is now known as the Whaley House. By 1858, Thomas and Anna Whaley had produced 3 children, Francis Hinton, Thomas Whaley Jr., and Anna Amelia. Later in life, the Whaleys welcomed 3 more children, George Hayes Ringgold, Violet Eloise, and Corinne Lillian. On May 6, 1856, Thomas Whaley began construction of his new home and proclaimed, "My new house, when completed, will be the handsomest, most comfortable and convenient place in town, or within 150 miles of here." The 2-story Greek Revival house was designed by Thomas Whaley and made from bricks created in Whaley's very own brickyard on Conde Street. The house was the first of its kind and cost more than $10,000 when completed. Furnished with mahogany and rosewood furniture, Brussels carpets, and damask drapes, the Whaley House was overwhelmingly praised as the first of its kind and finest home in Southern California. Besides being the Whaley family home, it was also San Diego's first commercial theater, the county courthouse, and a general store. In October 1868, an upstairs family bedroom was converted into a theater after Thomas Whaley rented the room out to the Tanner Troupe, a local theater troupe traveling through San Diego at the time. For the troupe's opening night performance, the small room accommodated a stage, a few benches, and an astonishing 150 guests. The operator of the theater, Thomas Tanner, died just 17 days after opening, and his troupe had disbanded by the end of January 1869. The Whaley House also served as the county courthouse in 1869. For $65 a month, the county of San Diego leased the courtroom and 3 of the upstairs bedrooms. Another part of the Whaley House history was the Whaley and Crosthwaite General Store, which was a wholesale and retail store. In the 1860s and 1870s, the house became the focal point of a battle between Old Town residents and residents of Newtown, current downtown, for dominance of San Diego. The San Diego County government had been renting a portion of Whaley House for its offices and records. Whaley offered several times to sell the house to the county, but the offer was ignored. Newtowners demanded that the county offices and records be moved to Newtown. Despite threats of armed resistance from the Old Towners, the records were moved on March 31, 1871, effectively shifting the focus of the city to Newtown. Although the Whaley House was a communal treasure, it served primarily as the residential home for Thomas Whaley and his family. Unfortunately, tragedy continued to strike the Whaley family while they lived in the home, leading to an increase in reported paranormal activity. In fact, the Whaley family told the San Diego Union shortly after moving in that they heard heavy footsteps in the house, which they believed to be the ghost of James "Yankee Jim" Robinson, who had earlier been hanged on the property for stealing a boat. Every corner of the Whaley House whispers a tale of sorrow and spectral encounters. Resonating through the walls of this historic mansion are not only the tragic life events of the Whaley family, but also eerie echoes from the beyond. The tale with the untimely death of Thomas Whaley Jr., taken by scarlet fever at just 18 months old, setting a mournful tone to the house. The fabric of sorrow deepened with the devastating fire that consumed their store, pushing Thomas and Anna to relocate to San Francisco. Here, amidst new beginnings with 3 more children, George Whaley, Violet Eloise, and Corinne Lillian, tragedy followed as a massive earthquake disrupted their lives, forcing their return to a desolate Whaley House in 1868. The hauntings reportedly began soon after, with guests whispering of cold spots, fleeting shadows, and soft wails echoing through the halls. The spectral activity seemed to climax with the heart-wrenching tale of Violet Eloise Whaley. Married and abandoned within a fortnight, Violet, engulfed in melancholy, tragically ended her life using Thomas's .32 caliber gun in the backyard outhouse, with many claiming to hear her despairing sobs in the dead of night. Her father Thomas, grief-stricken and haunted by the events, sought solace by building new residence at 933 State Street. Yet the hauntings at the old house persisted. Over the years, the Whaley House saw the demise of more family members: Anna Amelia in 1905, Anna in 1913, and Corinne Lillian in 1953, all of whom are said to wander its rooms still. Beyond the family, even visitors bore witness to misfortune, with accidents and sudden illnesses frequently reported, the spirits apparently unwilling to confine their torment to the family alone. After being dedicated as a historic house on May 25, 1960, the Whaley House has received over 100,000 visitors per year, and a countless number of those people report paranormal experiences. For there to be so many instances of reported paranormal activity in the house, we have delved into the history of the Whaley House. Next, let's explore its haunting mysteries. The first spirits we encounter are Thomas Jr. and Violet. Infant cries, often echoing through the corridors, are attributed to Thomas Jr., who tragically succumbed to scarlet fever here at just 18 months old. On the second floor, in the back room, visitors report sightings of a young woman accompanied by an overwhelming sense of sorrow. This is believed to be Violet Whaley. The rooms throughout the house pulse with spiritual activity, hosting apparitions from the early 1900s, possibly those of former residents. Guests have witnessed a little girl in the dining room, heard the strains of vaudeville music in the theater room, and felt an unmistakable presence in the courtroom. Outside, over 3 decades ago, a police officer encountered a woman in period attire, crying inconsolably, only to vanish as light fell upon her. Anna Whaley's spirit is often seen in the garden or the lower rooms, dressed in a green gingham dress, sometimes sipping tea in the parlor. Even the pets of the Whaleys, a ghostly dog and cat, roam the premises. Thomas Whaley himself is known to appear on the upper landing, his presence marked by the scent of tobacco smoke. A tour guide, Victor Santana, once fled the house when a mysterious voice questioned his presence during a routine security check, leading to a panicked exit and a subsequent police investigation. However, the most chilling spirit is that of Yankee Jim, whose heavy footsteps are a frequent reminder of his tragic end on these grounds before the house was even built. Convicted of theft, Yankee Jim his fate on the gallows right where the house today. Thomas Whaley, who witnessed the execution, later purchased the land, a decision that would haunt him and his family for years to come. Since being designated a historic landmark, the Whaley House has welcomed over 100,000 visitors annually, many of whom report their own eerie encounters within its walls. The myriad of paranormal incidents reported makes the Whaley House a true nexus of supernatural activity. The Whaley House has transcended its physical bounds to become a staple in American horror culture. Its eerie reputation and ghostly tales have made it a sought-after location for filmmakers and television producers keen on capturing its essence of the paranormal. The Whaley House has been featured in many historical documentaries, as well as a wide variety of paranormal and sci-fi shows, including Sci-Fi Channel's Fact or Faked, Paranormal Files 13, and Travel Channel's America's Most Haunted, in which it was stated the Whaley House was the most supernatural home in the United States. The Whaley House was mentioned in the 2007 animated movie Hellboy, Blood and Iron, in which one of the characters references the paranormal entity, Yankee Jim. In 2012, the Whaley House was featured on the Biography Channel's The Haunting of Regis Philbin. While filming for a local San Diego morning show in 1964, Regis Philbin visited the Whaley House Museum and claimed to have a paranormal encounter with Mrs. Whaley. Philbin stated, "You know, a lot people poo-poo it because they can't see it, but there was something going on in that house." In 2014, the Whaley House was featured on Ghost Adventures as the main investigation of the series' 110th episode. As we close the doors behind us, The stories of the Whaley House linger in the shadows. Let's take a moment to reflect on the journey we've embarked upon through this eerie estate. In the heart of San Diego, the Whaley family set the foundation for what would become not just a home but a landmark steeped in history and mystery. Thomas Whaley, an ambitious settler, built this residence, which would witness the unfolding of numerous personal and communal narratives. Architecturally, the Whaley House was a marvel of its time, a Greek revival masterpiece that commanded attention. Yet beneath its grand facade, the walls of the Whaley House seemed to absorb the echoes of the family's joy and the specters of their despair. Tragedy struck with the loss of young Thomas Whaley Jr. to scarlet fever, an event that cast a long shadow over the family's fortunes. From the spirit of Yankee Jim, a convict who met his end on the gallows upon which the house was built, to the sightings of Anna Whaley, her presence often perceived in the garden, the house became a nexus for ghostly encounters. This storied home also captured the imagination of pop culture, finding its eerie ambiance portrayed in television and film, further cementing its place in the pantheon of haunted houses. I can certainly believe that it is haunted, especially when considering the history. But nonetheless, whether or not the house is definitively haunted will remain unsolved. That's it for today. Friends, hope you enjoyed our video. Don't forget to subscribe our channel for more chilling tales and uncover the mysteries of the past with us.